Okay, we're in studio today with Joe Holmes with MarketPass. We're going to ask all kinds of questions to help you, the realtor, understand what MarketPass is. Welcome, Joe. Joe Holmes, co-founder of MarketPass. All right, Joe, so tell us, what is MarketPass? So MarketPass is a company that we launched in 2020. We functioned at that time as the in-house cash buyer for the Keller Williams office in Vadnais Heights. The reason that we did this is we saw Open Door coming to town, and Zillow was there as well. We all know who was backed by Zillow. But we felt like, hey, if this is a tool the consumer is looking for and wants, let's get a better version of it. I didn't want to rely on a West Coast company or anybody else for that matter. So we created MarketPass to be an in-house cash buyer that didn't have restrictions and all the hoops to jump through and the crazy platforms to work with. Oh, that's interesting. Today, we're more than just the in-house cash buyer for Vadnais Heights. We are working with other Keller Williams offices, other brokerages, independents, and all kinds of realtors. Gotcha. So you were the in-house cash buyer for Vadnais Heights, and now you guys are branching out to other locations, realtors, independents, and other offices. That's fantastic. So you're not brokerage specific then? That's correct. We're not brokerage specific. In fact, we are built by realtors for realtors. Realtors of any kind in any office. So we work with other KW offices, independent brokerages, independent realtors, and other brokerages as well. Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit more about the properties that you guys like to buy. We buy residential properties of any kind: townhomes, condos, single-family homes, multifamily homes. We're here to give realtors the tool to use, and again, it's all-encompassing of pretty much any type of residential property. Fantastic. So it sounds pretty much residential and quite a bit of it. Is there anything specific, such as price points, geography, or otherwise, that influences what you can or can't buy? Yeah, that's a great question. We, geographically speaking, we want to be in and around the Twin Cities primarily. 7-county metro area works best for us. If we get stretched outside the 7-county metro, we can make offers, but our vendors that we work with in the event that we need to remodel or do any work to a property is really geared towards the 7-county metro. But as we form relationships with other wholesalers and buyers like us, then we can start to service areas outside of the 7-county metro, western Wisconsin, down to Rochester and north as well. Oh, you really do kick ass. As for a price point, our sweet spot is $500,000 and under. The reason for that is we find our business model becoming slightly less effective for the seller when we're in a higher price point or if we're working on luxury homes. Okay, why is that? Higher priced properties generally have more variables to them when we sell them. The biggest variable that we have to manage on that is time on market. So when it comes to our return or a percentage that we're looking for, the longer we go on the market, the more aggressive we have to be. So a luxury home, we're going to get you an offer, but it might be just a little less competitive than what somebody may expect or looking for. Okay, got it. Hey, what about if a home is listed, or is this a pre-list tool? How does that work? Yeah, that's a great question. This is primarily a pre-list tool. Okay. Yeah, it's a challenging model when the home is already listed. And the reason for that is when we're putting together our offer, whether it's our company, Open Door, our buddy Chris Lindahl, or anybody else for that matter, when you're buying and reselling a property, the first piece that we start for in our model is, what can we resell this property for, right? And so if you're listed and you've got some time on market, let's just say you're listed at $400,000, what you're showing us is that you're not worth $400,000, right? The list price isn't selling. And so we're going to be below that list price to start our model. And from there, we have to have a profit margin built in, and we have to have our expenses paid for. So in the end, a listed property, we can certainly make an offer on, but the offer is such that it's pretty far under list price to the point where it may not make sense for the seller instead of just exploring price reductions. We find that our offers on listed properties just turn it into a tool for a price reduction. Gotcha. So it sounds like you guys cover quite a bit of everything and primarily just open to residential properties of all kinds with no restrictions. That is awesome. So tell us, how do you get an offer from MarketPass? Yeah, the offer process is pretty easy. What we need is as much information on the property as possible. And that's done through photos and videos. Think of it this way. We're not coming to a property, but we're gonna offer on it, right? So you have to show us as much as you can through your photography and video work. We've created a video called Pictures 101. It's in our marketing archives that all realtors have access to, and I'd highly suggest watching the video Pictures 101 as it's a tutorial on this exact question. The idea is you're going through the home, telling us the story of the home, and keep this in mind. There's no such thing as too many photos. Impossible to send us too many photos, but there is a possibility of sending us too few photos, right? The idea is you walk in the front door and you want to just pause right there and take photos scanning the room left to right to left. It doesn't make any difference. Go to the other side of where you just took a photo of and take the photo of where you came from. That makes sense. And do that for every room that you're walking in and out of. You're essentially panning, going to the other side and doing it again. That way we can see the entire scope of the room. When you're going through the home and there's amenities that you want to highlight, take a picture of it, right? This is literally you telling us the story of the home through photography and video work. So if there's cool countertops, take a photo of it. If there's cool backsplash, take a photo of it. If there's damage in a floor, take a photo of it. If the floor is really cool, reclaimed hardwood floors, take a photo of it. Take a photo of anything you want to tell us the story of. That's the idea. So through photography and video work, you're showing us the story of the home. Yeah, Pictures 101. We got to go take a look at that in your archives. So we get it. Hey, tell this story of the home through photography and video. What else are you looking for? Any kind of insight on financials, right? If you're planning on listing this property, clearly you've done a CMA or have an opinion of price. Let's hear it. If you have other competing offers through Open Door or any of the other cash buyers in the cities, let us know what we're competing against. So what does it take to get an offer? Just information. Give me as much information as possible through photos and videos. Give me some financials, and we can get you an offer in 24 to 48 hours. Cool. So, okay. So pictures, videos, financials, any other competing offers or otherwise. How do we get this information to you? A great question. So how to get us all that information, right? Here's the cool part about MarketPass. We're pretty laid back and easy to work with. We don't have websites, logins, and passwords, and all the garbage you got to use for Open Door and other platforms. We're easy. All you need to do is send us that information. So if you have a lot of videos and pictures, again, watch that video, Pictures 101. It'll really get into detail there, but I can give you a little bit of help here. If you have an iPhone, you want to select all the photos and videos to send, go to your upload button at the bottom and click iCloud link. And then you can just either text or email me the link. Dude, that's brilliant. I don't know Samsung phones enough to give you that tutorial, but I know they have a function very similar to that. If those two things aren't your jam, what we can do is just encourage you to share a Dropbox folder, a Google Drive, something that has archive, ability on large database chunks, and something simple to share. Yeah, I'm not a Samsung guy either, so I think I'm gonna have to watch Pictures 101 too. Okay, so after that, after you have everything and you're doing your analysis, Joe, you're doing your thing, how long does it take to actually get the offer? How long are we waiting? After that, we can have an offer for you within 24 to 48 hours. However, if it's the weekend or if we're around a holiday, you might want to give me a little bit of time, and we're just like anybody else. If you send something in my inbox, please text or call me, as that's a quicker way for us to respond, and I'll be notified it's in our inbox, and away we go. But generally speaking, you'll get your offer in 24 to 48 hours. Jeez, man, 24 to 48 hours, that's pretty darn quick. All right, so what does the offer look like? What's coming at us? Is it a fully written offer? What do you got coming at us? Yeah, so the offer itself is actually a summary letter. If I had to write a purchase agreement every time we wrote an offer, That's a lot of work and a lot of paper. So what we do is we put the offer terms on a summary offer, and it's going to describe our purchase price, our service charge, and any of the extras that you may want, closing date ranges, and if your clients need any conveniences like leaving personal property and debris behind, no need to clean, just the general basics. So it comes in the form of an offer summary letter. If your seller likes that and approves those terms, then we'll write up a purchase agreement to match. Okay, you had mentioned service charges as one of the things within your structure. Tell us about the service charges. Why do you have those? What are those for? Yeah, that's a great question. Service charges generally range between 6.5% and 8.5%. And that goes into the structure of our offer. And more times than not, we do have a service charge. And the way that that works is, let's just say, for example, we have an offer price of $380,000. We might, in this particular price range, expect that we sell a home for about $400,000. So we're looking for about a $20,000 profit margin, right? Our offer to you is $380,000. We expect to be able to sell it for $400,000. That $20,000 difference is our profit margin. Well, we have costs to this, right? We have costs when we buy a home, right? We've got state deed tax, title work, things of that nature, inspections if we care to do them. And we also have holding costs, right? And any particular project, we have to calculate the holding days. So it could be 90 days, 100 days, and literally to the penny, I'm calculating taxes, insurance, estimated utilities, HOAs, lawn, snow services, things like that. We got holding costs. If we're using our line of credit to make the purchase, then we also have debt service to pay for. And then, of course, when we sell the property, we've got our standard costs that all realtors are familiar with, right? Again, we've got selling a property. We've got title costs, state deed tax. We've got a 2.7% buyer payout to the buyer agent if there is one. Photography, home staging. So all those things go into our service charge. So again, the structure goes in this case, if our offer is $380,000 and we think we're going to resell for $400,000, well, that's our profit margin, that $20,000 profit margin. But if we offer $380,000, we have to have the seller cover all those expenses. So we translate all of those things into a service charge. And one of the things we're happy to do is show everybody this work. We're happy to show our fees that we expect for purchase, holding, resale. We're completely transparent. So if you want to see the model behind the offer, we're happy to show that to you so you can help explain it to your sellers and help negotiate back. If the $380,000 offer price doesn't cut it, we want to know what does. If the $400,000 resale you feel might be a little higher, we want to hear that. We also want to hear if it's a little bit high too. So part of this is just interactive, going back and forth to make sure the offer is tailored correctly to your seller's needs. Yeah, I get it. So the structure of the offer, again, is pretty simple. We start with what we think we can resell the home for. And again, if we feel like we can resell a home safely for a $400,000 price point, we'll probably offer about $380,000, assuming that we've got to safeguard about a $20,000 profit margin. From there, we create a service charge equal to our costs of buying it, holding it, and reselling that. And then we turn that into a service charge that we charge the seller at closing. So that's our business model. Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, there are a lot of fees to buying a property and holding it and selling it. So let me just get this straight and repeat it back to you. You've got your offer where you start this process is you start with a safe resale value, and then you reduce that by the profit margin that you need to protect. And that number is our offer price. And then the service charge that comes off of that is equal to all your expenses to actually do the transaction. That makes sense. I get that. So here's a question for you. Who relists the property once you buy it? Does that realtor that brought it in have the opportunity to list with you? Our team relists the property when we sell it. We get that question often from the realtors bringing in the opportunities for these cash offers. We relist these with our team. And the reason we do that is just because it's cost effective. We don't charge ourselves listing fees, and it's part of our model to keep costs down. So we relist our properties. All right, that makes sense. Got to keep things easy and with your team. And of course, less expensive when you guys do it in-house for yourselves and free of charge. So I got to ask them, the natural follow-up to that is, how does the realtor get paid? So we don't add a realtor commission to our offers, right? The realtor, much like any transaction, any listing, anything they're working on, is going to have to work on that directly with their seller or their client. We don't add a commission in with our offers to compensate or to pay out that listing agent. So we've seen an array of listing commissions, or commissions, if you will, coming from these realtors. On occasion, we've seen realtors earn 3%. We've seen them lower it to 2 or 1%. On occasion, we've seen realtors getting paid $0. And sometimes, believe it or not, we see realtors getting paid 6% on these deals. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. We're charging a service charge of 6, 7, 8%. And yes, the realtor charged a 6% commission as well. That's how competitive our offers are. All of those scenarios are true and accurate, and all of them have worked. And we purchased properties with all of those structures. Can you describe some of those scenarios on what the realtors got paid, what was for, a little bit about that transaction? The realtors are all over the board on their compensation, and it kind of varies based on the project that they're working on, right? Sometimes it could be a seller that didn't know they wanted to sell and just found a dream home. It could be somebody that has a health problem, or the condition of the home is rough and they have to compete against Open Door or whatnot. But we've seen commissions all over the board, from quite literally $0 up to 1, 2, and 3%. And we've seen realtors as high as 6% on these deals. I know what you're thinking. We charge a 6 to 8% service charge, and yes, the realtors have been paid upwards of 3 to 6% on some of these transactions. Sure, absolutely. And it will vary based on the circumstance of, the deal. All of them are a little bit different. So let's take you through an example of where somebody didn't get paid. And you're probably wondering, why would somebody do that? Well, in this particular scenario, and we've worked a couple of these scenarios where the seller that we bought from didn't know they were going to be a seller. Quite frankly, they didn't know they were going to be a buyer. But all of a sudden, their dream home is on the market. They didn't even know they wanted to buy something, and there it is, their dream home. And they need to make an offer because they love the home, it's their dream home, but they have to write it non-contingent because they don't want to create an uncompetitive offer. So they want to write something non-contingent. So here comes us with an offer in on buying their home. We've had that realtor on occasion put $0 on there because they're making a commission on that buy side for their dream home. If that's what it took to create a competitive situation enough to get that offer approved, that's what that realtor has done. I've seen some of the same situations where that realtor has earned 1 and 2 and 3% as well. So one of our latest purchases, I'm really proud of this one. This is fantastic. Again, we're built by realtors for realtors, and the whole point is to support our realtor community. So this is a fantastic story. One of the realtors in our office came to us for a cash offer. She was friends with and a past client of the adult children, one of the adult children in their 60s, if you will, right? Mom and dad in their 80s. And dad took a spill in the property and a little bit injured and was just done. He was like, done. I'm done with this home. We're moving out. We're going to assisted living. We're not doing a darn thing. We're not clearing it out. Leave the stuff behind. And literally, they were done. And so the adult children were tasked with finding a buyer, and they didn't want to list. They didn't want to go through the process of cleaning up the home, renovating, doing anything. And those adult children went out and got some offers, one of which came to me. So we're competing against other cash buyers. I don't know which local ones they were. I don't know. Don't know if it was Open Door, Homestead Road. Don't quite know. But we knew that we were competing. Wrote an offer, and our offer beat the others, so much so that the realtor bringing it in was able to add a 3% commission for herself on this transaction. She showed her value to these people, got a fantastic offer that beat everybody else, and was able to add her commission in and not skip a beat with what she expected as well. Now, you're probably wondering, how does somebody get paid 6% on these? And we've only seen that a couple of times. But when people are using this tool in their canceleds, expireds, for sale by owner scripts, we see a little bit more aggressive style coming from these realtors. And so on occasion, we've seen the expireds and canceleds where somebody's coming in not only with our offer, but with a 3, 4, 5, maybe even as high as 6% commission. We've seen that a couple of times where our offer is competitive enough to where that person's able to add even more in. But again, that's up to the realtor to decide. Just like any commission or compensation a seller or client is willing to pay, it's between that realtor and their client to figure that out. Our job is to create a competitive offer that has enough value to where you can put something in for yourself. But again, what a realtor gets paid is up to them. It's between them and their clients. And what types of scenarios do you see the sellers using this concept for? We know it's not anything new quite really in the Twin Cities, but you got a lot of experience with it, Joe. What types of uses do you find that sellers gravitating towards? What's it all about for them? Sellers typically go with this option based on what we call, or what I'll describe as the 4 C's: convenience, control, certainty, and condition. So let's break some of those down. Let's not fool ourselves. Most of this is about convenience, right? The world is going a convenience direction. From the kid who orders the Starbucks coffee through Uber Eats that costs $25, right? So if you're going to pay $25 for a Starbucks coffee to be delivered to your home, let's face it, convenience is taking over. Amazon, right? Everything is about convenience. So if you want to skip the listing process, you're skipping the concept of showings, inspections, appraisals. You can have the convenience of leaving personal property and debris behind. You don't have to even take the garbage that you don't want to take. You can just leave it behind. So convenience, right? Then you've got control items, like you can control your closing date, choose a closing date, change a closing date, cancel. We don't care. We typically can close within 10 days, but we can go as far as 60 or 90 days if you need to. And you can change it along the way. So you got control. You got certainty, meaning we're a cash buyer, we're not messing around, we're closing. You can count on us. You can go make an offer on your dream home, non-contingent if you'd like to. We're a cash buyer ready to close. And then you've got condition. And this is where we see a secondary big use of this tool is when the condition of the property may be as such to where it doesn't show very well, or there's some challenges there, whether it be with just debris, personal property doesn't show well, things of that nature. So we see more times than not, the need from the seller is kind of a mix of convenience and condition. Back to that story of a realtor recently coming to us. The older folks said took a little tumble in the home, and based on the condition of the home. So those two things are convenience and condition, right? So that's what we see. Other uses are, again, I think we've maybe mentioned it through the podcast, but if you don't even know that you're going to be a buyer or a seller, and all of a sudden your dream home comes on the market, or whether it's a surprise or not, if you need to buy a home without the contingency to sell your home, that's another use for this tool. So just remember the 4 C's when you're sitting in listing appointments or you're listening to conversations: control, convenience, certainty, and condition. Yeah, convenience for sure. I can see how convenience and condition really kind of kick in this need. So conveniences, we're talking about keeping things simple for a seller. So they've got to love being able to leave anything behind they want. Wow, dude, that's pretty good. So anybody can just leave it all behind, as much or as little. They don't have to clean. They don't have to do anything. Yeah, the ability to change, too, from changing the closing date to if you need a last-minute rent back or holdover possession for a couple days. Those things are crazy convenient. Nice ads. Nice ads, man. That's great stuff. So, okay, let's get into some high-level questions on how the realtor applies this. How does a realtor apply this to their business model? What are they doing to turn this message on, and what's the point? What we teach realtors is to take one of two different approaches. Number one, first and foremost, play defense. Yeah, playing defense. I gotta tell you, that message is everywhere around the Twin Cities. Your database and everybody else's, I'm sure, is under fire. So I get it, playing defense. My goodness, this message is all over the Twin Cities. It's on billboards, radio, print material, open doors, mailing things. It's all over the place. So number one, first and foremost, play defense. Let me ask the realtor that's watching this a question. You probably already answered. That's why you're here, realtors. If your database is curious about skipping the listing process and just getting a couple offers, are they thinking of you? They're not if you haven't turned on this message, right? And that's number one, play defense. Add this message to your email drip campaigns, to your social platforms, to your phone calls, your outreach. Let your database and the consumers know that you have this tool. Make sure your database knows that if they're curious about skipping the listing process and just getting straight to the offers, that they think of you too. We call that playing defense. Use the message. Play defense. The other side of what we teach realtors is that you can play offense too. If you want to put billboards out there, put billboards out there. That's a little extreme, though. I don't think all of us have the ability to do that. But you can play offense. So playing offense, that's kind of like the marketing guy out there, or adding it into your canceleds, expireds, FSBOs, door knocking, open house scripts, farming. We teach people how to add this to their expireds and canceleds and for sale by owner scripts. We teach people how to add this to their conversations at open houses. If you want to farm a particular area because you have a buyer for that neighborhood, that's us. Think of yourself as having a buyer for any home that you walk up to. That's what we can do for you. So if you want to farm a neighborhood, if you want to door knock, use door hangers, canceleds, expireds, FSBOs, advertising of any variety, that's playing offense. And that's going to get your phone to ring. So whether you play defense or you play offense, that's how the realtor integrates this into their business model. All right, so here's the million-dollar question I got to ask. How many offers do you make before you get one approved? Tell us a little bit about that model and how does that look? That is an amazing question, and it's going to take a couple minutes to get through because there's more to it. Our offers are highly approvable. By that I mean we're getting 1 in 8 offers approved. Doesn't sound like much, but that's pretty high level. 1 in 8. So wait a second. You're telling me that you write 8 offers for every one that gets approved? That sounds like a lot of work. Outfits like Homestead Road, Open Door, Chris Lindahl, they might be in the 1 in 20 to 1 in 30. In fact, I know Homestead Road is up in about 1 in 30. Now think about that. They're writing 30 offers and only one of them's getting accepted. We're about 1 in 8. And therein lies the tool and why this is a tool that you have to pick up and use. Spin it around. Think of this the other direction. If these companies are offering and only 1 in 20, 1 in 30, 1 in 25, whatever it is getting approved, that means that 19 out of 20 or 24 out of 25, whatever it is, are not approving the offer. Doesn't mean the offer is bad. It just simply means that the proceeds aren't what they want it to be, and that convenience, control, and certainty isn't worth the lower proceeds. So what does this opportunity turn into? Instead of a request for a cash offer, this is now a listing appointment. Did we just drop the mic? Did we just have an aha moment, everybody? This is why this tool is important. This is why this message is so out there. This is why companies have been created for this, because this message is so powerful, not only for companies like Open Door, Homestead Road. Hey, they've got offers that work out, But for the 29 out of the 30 that aren't taking it, it's now a listing presentation that Homestead Road controls, Chris Lundahl controls, or the other people control. This is why it's so important for the realtor to jump in on this and understand. It's not necessarily about the cash offer being so awesome that the seller runs with it. It's about having the tool, so they go to you. Nice. And what happens when it's not what they want? You're now in position to list your client's home. No way. Homestead Road is really up around 1 in 30 or maybe even 1 in 20. That's a lot. And you know what? The way that you explain that makes a lot of sense. I guess it really isn't about the offer getting approved. It's providing that tool. We get that. But the concept for the realtor, wow, this is kind of really setting in. It's about the fact that 19 out of 20 don't want the offer, and then the realtor's in position to then continue to talk about their listing services and other things they can do. Dude, makes a lot of sense, and what a great product you're putting out there for the real estate community. Nice work. So where does a realtor go from here? Extra tools for you guys to use. We've been working on this for a while. We have a Google Drive for you to use. In fact, there is a secondary video that says Google Drive. This is how to use our marketing folder. Okay, you got a marketing folder, and is that easy to use? What's in there for realtors to use? There's probably about 17, 18 videos and maybe about 20 static posts, right? About 35 social media posts that you can use right now. Woo! We also have postcards if you're into farming or mailers that you can rebrand with yourself. We also have net sheets and other tools in our marketing drive, and we tell people, if you need something that you don't see, let us know what it is. We're happy to create it. Any video concepts, anything you could think of. Again, we're built by realtors for realtors. So let us know how we can help you. Okay, awesome. Hey, okay, Joe, last question. I'm going to get you out of here on this one. Where can I get that awesome, swanky quarter zip that says MarketPass on it?